Reminder, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. When speaking, please come to the podium, state your name, address, speak loudly and clearly. Thank you. Item number 1 is approval of the agenda.
I'll move it.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Item number 2 on the agenda, approval of the meeting minutes from June 3, 2025. I'll move that.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Item number 3, approval of claims. I would call on Shane Albrecht to give us a report on that, please.
Yes. So there's 2 claims before the authority this time. A claim from Frederickson for $24,001.57. A claim for Baker Group for $5,707.50. A total of claims is $29,709.07.
I'll move it.
I second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Passes 2-0. And item number 4 is financial report. I would call on Mr. Erickson for that, please.
Ryan Erickson, Finance Director of Woodbury County. Not a whole lot of activity for the last 2 weeks. There was a Baker Group bill paid, and then a CW Suter was paid out of the miscellaneous fund. It just got moved up to the taxable fund because it was a construction related. And then there was about $11,000 worth of interest posted to, taxable got $10,000 and the maintenance fund $1,100. So that's really the activity for the last 2 weeks.
Thank you, sir. I have no questions.
Thanks,
Thank you again. Okay. All right, item number 5 on the agenda today is discussion and action on CW Suter's proposal to remove/blank off exhaust grills in rooms 0029, 0030, 0031. And again, I would call on Shane Albrecht for a report on that, please.
Yeah, so basically, this was something we needed to get done. So this was pre-approved by Ron and Kenny. We're just bringing it before everybody to ratify. Basically, all 3 of these rooms, for everybody's knowledge, had both exhaust and air conditioning in the rooms, but no supply. So you're exhausting and have air conditioning. They're self-contained units, so they're not bringing fresh air from somewhere else. They're split units that are in the rooms. So our experts said you should have one or the other, not both,
Sure.
because there's nothing to make up what's exhausting out of the room. 2 of the rooms had 500 CFM of exhaust. One of them had 600 CFM. The only way that was ever possible was the door had to be open to be sucking air from someplace else.
Sure.
So this is a design error, and this is all part of that whole piece. So this just needed to get done.
It was adding to the building being negative.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
for sure.
So this is all something that the work has already been completed, with the exception of Kenny needed to get somebody to blank off room 0031 because it's a firewall, and it should have had a fire damper, but that was missed as well. So now building services is going to bring a mason in to lay that block back. Kevin had provided a couple other methods that we could do. The issue is you can't get to both sides of the wall because of how close the ductwork is. So when Kevin is going to say, hey, well, you could build a steel studs with 2 layers of drywall on both sides, which is a great solution. We unfortunately can't get to the one side of the thing, so we're just going to put it back in masonry. Unless Mr. Ross has any,
Yeah, sorry, Shane, didn't mean to interrupt. If you would like me to look at, there are alternative details for metal stud and either shaft liner or sheetrock construction that we can do from one side. But you guys let me know what you'd prefer to do. I mean, whichever is easiest and most readily available, I can come up with something for you if you like.
Kenny, do you need anything else done with that, or would you?
No, we'll just block it up, Kevin. We can do it
Okay.
from the electrical side and we'll be fine.
Okay, sounds good, Kenny.
I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have any more questions?
So this work that Suter did was $928,
Yes.
and that was what you had pre-approved, Ron? Okay. So I'm good with that. I would move, I guess, final approval, right?
Yes.
I would move final approval on the
And I'll-
blank off exhaust proposal from
And
Suter.
I will second that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, passes 2-0. Item number 6 on the agenda today is discussion and action on CW Suter invoice for adding 3 monitoring stations to the LEC AHU BMS. And again, I would call on Shane Albrecht for a report on that, please.
Okay, so what you guys have before you is something that has already been previously approved at a prior agenda by the authority to do this work. The problem is Suter hadn't been paid for this work, and we were out in the 30 to 60-day out range, and it wasn't on the claims. So all we really need to do right now is approve a bill that you had previously already approved the work for. And this just didn't hit the invoices, and this was something that I noticed before I noticed the new problem that we're missing 2 more Suter invoices for Supervisor Authority Member Nelson to wonder, hey, why don't we have those other 2 invoices here as well? It's because I didn't realize they weren't in the packet.
Yep.
This one I did to be able to get in the packet last Thursday. So right now, we will meet after the meeting, but this is something that needs to get paid, and couldn't wait 2 more weeks.
Yeah, and for the public, we discussed these monitoring stations, was that 4 weeks, at the meeting 4 weeks ago, I think? Yeah,
Yes.
so if they need to, I don't think we need to rehash it, but if they want to go back and listen, that'd be the meeting. But yeah, I would move approval on that, Shane, and we'll definitely get those other invoices.
I would
Paid up.
second that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, passes 3-0. Item number 7 on the agenda today, information and update on the LEC project, and once again, Shane Albrecht from Baker Group, please.
Yeah, so since our last update, there has been some work that's been going on. I've been out to look at the seeding and site rutting and the lack of grass coming up. Todd has been going out 2 to 3 times a week. We terminated that visits last Friday with a final report because the grass isn't coming up, and quite frankly, it's hard to take pictures when all you can see right now is weeds.
You mean the drone fertilizer didn't make the grass grow?
It did not, sir.
Just checking.
So personally, that has not gotten any better, nor did any of us think it would. But that's where that is. So we've stopped that. They've come out a couple times to look at the fence to get the gate issue corrected. I'm not exactly sure where that is. We met with the owner of Cardis out there looking at it with Kenny. And then his people needed to meet with Kenny again, and that's accomplished. Their question was, well, who's paying for this? And we said, you need to go back to Outback. And last we checked, it still had been done. The fix is gonna be, one of the gate posts is clear out of plumb. They need to go down next to that gate post, dig a hole, get it wedged back up to plumb, pour concrete back in there, and we can finally get this gate put to sleep. That is one of the items, not the actual leveling of it up, that's a warranty item. But the painting of this whole piece is part of our final completion stuff that we'll talk about right now. So on final completion, we've got a roof warranty. We do not feel that all the pieces of the roof warranty have been satisfied. And we are supporting Kevin's opinion there that without knowing that there's no liens coming on this, which is item 8 on the warranty, we can't in good conscience say that's completed. Next thing, we talk about test and balancing. PR 54 has been issued, which is adding 2 new exhaust fans to the roof. Hausman has declined any new work, so put it on the authority. So the authority's in the process right now of trying to move forward with getting people signed up to do that work. We just talked about the seeding and rutting on site. And those are the main things. So we got the roof warranty, painting of the fence, the test and balancing stuff, which is PR 54, and the seeding and rutting. I think I don't think I said that twice, but maybe I did. Did I give you
Shane,
four?
just to add to that,
Yeah.
sorry. PR 55, which is one we're doing just to clean up the other loose ends with the HVAC stuff. Michelle from Introba provided that yesterday, and I believe Matt, RCE, is reviewing that and will get back any additional comments so we can get that issued as well too.
Yeah, so I'll give you an update on that, Kevin, okay?
Mhm.
RCE should have comments back yet today on that. There's a meeting at 2 o'clock, same time as this, with Corey and Matt. And they had found just a couple, three different things that are gonna need to change, okay? So
Okay.
it should easily get out today from their side and get into Atropa's hands. So hopefully that PR 55 can get issued tomorrow or the day after. Okay?
Yep, we'll keep an eye out for it and get it out the door as soon as we get it.
So as far as everything else, right now, AHU 2, we have a thing out for Suter to get started on that work for changing how that's controlled. Currently, they're waiting for a backdraft dampers for the 4 return fans from trains still. That's part of what should have been on the documents to start with. And then they're waiting for the actual airflow monitoring things to come from Riston Associates. I spoke to Andy yet today, and he's double checking where all that stuff is because hasn't seen it yet. Andy's with Star Control for everybody that doesn't know that. I can't think of the guy's name. I did it twice today, but the person that does the programming that we've been waiting on since Aditya has left, Faisal is the gentleman's name, and he will be here on July 1st still. So Andy's trying to have all that work done prior to Faisal showing up on July 1st to be able to finish the programming. Then for everybody's knowledge, once we get a hard number and figure out how long it's really gonna take, we need to do the same thing to Air Handler 1 as well as Air Handler 3. Now, Air Handler 3 is a little bit different because it has an energy wheel and a lot different more parts. Air Handler 1 and 2 are the same. Air Handler 3's control sequences in PR 55 that Kevin's talking about. So that's in the thing they're reviewing today, and Introbo should have out in PR 55, okay? And knock on wood, that is the last thing that we're waiting on for everything. So if we get that final document and nothing else rears its head, we should finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. We did have something that transpired that I forgot to update you guys on last time. Cornerstone Commissioning, our commissioning agent, that's kind of been waiting for these air handler changes to get done and coming back to commission the chiller. Keith Oberding was their person that's been out here and of course knew the project. His last day was a week ago Friday. So I've talked with the new person at Cornerstone, who's understands our schedule, and when we get him the new control stuff, he will have a new person scheduled. We're looking at that person probably coming in not till probably in the September range when we get all this control sequence stuff done, but we will get them here while that chiller still has a decent load on it, so we can verify that we have no issues that need to be corrected with the chiller. Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that you need me to add to an update or you'd like to add? Oh, I guess maybe.
No.
There is too, one more thing that you'll have to tell me if you're available for still with.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to, I think we're still scheduled for the 30th and the 1st, be there on site to do a pre-end of warranty walkthrough, just with the gang up there, and see if there's any additional warranty items we need to put on the list for housing and their subs to get corrected prior to the 1-year warranty expiring on the project.
So,
And yes, I'm still on track to be up there, Shane. So
okay, thank you. So currently, we've got scheduled for, as Kevin said, June 30th in the afternoon and July 1st in the morning to do a walk of the whole site and add anything to the warranty list that needs to be added. And I'm expecting Ron to send out that invitation, if you haven't already yet, today or tomorrow. And that's the only other issue that we have with that currently is Kenny Schmidt's is scheduled to be on vacation that week, because of just having to get the vacation policy used up, so that's, Kenny may or may not be around, so we'll have to be talking through that process. Warranty stuff, Kenny, would you like to come up and speak anything on the warranty stuff? Oh, and would you also speak on June 25th, our jury room stuff, please?
Right, warranty stuff, one of the items on our warranty list. Again, there's several things on there, but we've got things like replacement of trees. There's larger and smaller items, but some of the larger items are cracks in a couple places that were previously repaired by Hausman that have reoccurred. Some showed up in some newer places. What I will say about that is Hausman does not seem to be responding to requests to repair those. Kevin and Shane and I have all weighed in on it. And so I'm not seeing a lot of good movement on our warranty list on the items that are there. We are seeing some. We did have a handicap operator for the exterior building lower level on that list. I think I'm going to consider that one repaired. On a larger scale, we have some soundproofing issues in the jury/courtrooms that we're trying to address with Hausman. Currently, Hausman presented us some dates for their subcontractor to come in and do some work. Those dates were rejected. I reached out to the courts and the judges because we're looking at, in my opinion, we're looking at least 3 days of work consecutive. We've asked Hausman for a schedule, which we have not received, and we are having difficulty getting. But the schedule we're looking for is something that would be just a scope of work. In other words, we're going to remove a door frame and open up a sheetrock wall in this area. We expect it to take this much time to open up, this much time to identify the problems and/or repair and replace the items, this much time for sheetrock repair work, this much time for painting, this much time for cleaning. And so they're working in different areas. So we're looking for a scope of work that encompasses that. Since we're having difficulties getting that, I suggested that, in my experience, this is 3 days of full-time straight-through work. So I requested from the courts and the judges 3 days that they could give me. They pointed out 3 specific consecutive days and said, this is it. I asked for a couple options. I got one. I presented those dates to Hausman, and we're still waiting for a schedule and hopefully a reply if they're able to make that date.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about the courts. I mean, it's their call.
That is
I
correct.
mean, we don't have any say over how they function. So.
That's correct. They adjust their schedules as they can on our requests, if they're even able to do that.
Yep.
So,
But they're going to have to get us a schedule. I mean, we're just, again,
Yes.
we don't have any control over the courts, so they're going to have to give us a schedule, and we'll,
And we've sent many emails, we've even let them down the path of, because they said, well, sand's able to come for those 3 days. Is sand hanging the door? Is sand painting? Is sand putting the vinyl base back on? Is sand vacuuming? And no, they're not. So what are these other people scheduled to come too? Because
Yep.
it's a big deal.
that's the scheduling scope of work details we're looking for. We're asking for that because we need to know where they're working, what the duration is, and to look and see and identify if they're really missing anything. Like, maybe they could be missing the last item, like who's going to clean the mess up and shampoo the carpets or whatever that takes when the actual physical work is done.
Yep.
So another piece so right now they're fixing the jury room doors, to the hallways. There's still sound issues between the jury room and the courtrooms. They say these doors are installed per plans and specs and within tolerances, so the sound is coming from somewhere else. So while they're taking this courtroom down, we're gonna take the time also to destructively look at the door from the jury room to the courts to see if there's maybe not insulation installed in the frame. Maybe the soundproofing wasn't done, sound caulking wasn't put on, or whatever other ideas Kevin comes up with that I haven't thought about. But that's something else that'll be happening during this time, because we could be finding a bigger problem, because we still gotta get fixed the jury room to the courts.
Yeah, so there's a question as to whether, even if this work is performed, if it's actually going to address and solve the whole issue or not.
So that will also be a blend of Todd being there to document stuff for us, and Kenny's guys as well, to try to keep that nice and blended out there.
We've also offered, the dates we were given is a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I have offered that we could provide 24-hour service or assistance to meet with their subcontractors if they had to work later hours or overnight hours.
Well, then you got the weekend for a cushion potentially too.
And we
if
have the
something-
weekend for a cushion that we also said that we would provide that assistance on in case it was necessary. And we're waiting for a response.
Well, Kenny, thanks for you and your people for working on that, and Shane and Todd for communicating with them, and it's all we can do is stay after them. And I'm sorry on the warranty thing. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. You know, I'm sorry that they're not responsive. But I guess keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, we've been communicating with them. It's been a good team effort from both sides, trying to help support Kenny. That's all I'm trying to do, is help support Kenny. Unfortunately, simple requests aren't getting always helped very easily.
Thanks.
Shane, just one question. PR 55, is that for air handler 3?
PR 55 is not just for air handler 3.
Okay.
So PR 55 deals with 2 return paths that are missed right now on Entroba's documents. So there's 2 return paths. There is AHU3 control sequence. There is airflow minimums that are wrong on a number of VAV boxes and a number of fan power boxes. So some of these things, this will be if you remember Ron and I working till like 9 o'clock the one night on changing these to get some numbers in that Corey gave to us. This is actually fine tuning all those numbers to get those to the final numbers that they had to be to try to fix our airflow issues in this building and try to get this. So right now, we've got rough numbers in there for everything. This fine tunes them all after Corey and Matt have went through the whole space. So that's the final piece of that.
Okay. No, we were talking about air handler 1 and air handler 2, and so I just want to make sure that I had the PRs all straight. And thanks for, Corey and Matt have been pushing hard on this thing, and, hats off to those guys. They've come in clutch, big time.
And thank you, Kevin, for also pushing on this as well to get them going, because a lot of people don't know. We're on revision 3 on PR 53.
Yeah, no, we're going to do as well as done, Shane. Just keep pushing as much as we can. I know our efforts seem a little bit less productive than Corey. So again, yeah, thanks to Corey and Matt, and yeah, hopefully we'll get to the end of this thing soon.
Shane, I just wanted to point out that some other items that are hanging on the warranty list that either aren't being addressed, won't be addressed, or have been addressed in what I would call incorrectly. That would be the jail admin windows, an exterior envelope, and the concrete work.
Thank you. I guess,
Kenny, I was gonna ask on the warranty thing, on the seating, if it's weeds, are you guys shredding that? I don't want anything to get out of compliance with, say you have a bunch of weeds that are 10 feet tall, or do we have, what's the plan there?
There is not a plan. The plan was,
I mean, it shouldn't be our problem,
it's our problem now.
but yeah, yeah.
The plan was to stay within the guidelines that we were previously presented, and that being one of the criteria for mowing is actually supposed to be 3 times a year with the type of seed that we installed. So after Hausman did the latest seeding and fertilizing, we deemed that it should have a chance to do what they were trying to get done, so we didn't want to mow some of those areas. So we mowed a 6-foot path around all curbs and let the rest of it go. You are correct, at some point, if we don't start addressing this, we are going to have an issue. The city is going to call us and tell us we aren't in compliance with our basins, among other things. And we're going to have to do something. Either way, we're going to have to do something pretty soon, but the weeds may already be to a point where building services doesn't have the equipment to address it. We may have to bring in a contractor with some different mowing equipment, a tractor, a bush hog, or something like that, maybe to handle it. We let this go once before and had the same situation take place. And Shana, you can comment if you'd like.
yeah, with them doing the fertilizer, Mark, we made the choice that if we went out and messed with any of it, without letting it go and documenting the fact that it was just weeds and nothing coming up, that they could come back and say, well,
Absolutely, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
I know it sounds like we just sat on our hands, but we didn't. That's why we had Todd going out taking photos, so we could document the fact that we didn't touch this. We let it go till now. Nothing's coming up, and we've had rain, and nobody's watered it or done anything it required in the specs. Unfortunately, it's got Kenny in a bad position right now that he can't mow it with his equipment now. But to me, we had to do this, Mark, or we would have had somebody coming back at us saying, you messed with it and you didn't follow our criteria.
but this was seeded 3 years ago?
This was seeded maybe 2 years ago for the first time. And since then, last year, a year ago, it was reseeded. And then this year it was refertilized and some reseed. We're not seeing we didn't see any of the new stuff coming up.
Yeah, very little, if anything, new came up. And I don't know if we want to speak to I received a quote to have that site reseeded and refertilized and taken care of like it really needs to be done correctly. Part of that was the company I got the quote from, I think they're called Autumn. As part of their quote, they had an agronomist come in and test some of the soil, and they found some of the topsoil to be inadequate for growing the seed. So there's that.
There was about 3 acres of that.
Yeah, 3 acres of it. So there's that impending issue, I guess.
Which is significant. I mean, it's,
Yes.
for those following along, that's 3 football fields with the end zones, so.
Kenny brought up the metal panels on the outside of the building. Kevin has sent this and helped with that as well, that just is not acceptable, their solution to the metal panels. So we have sent that to him. Kenny also brought up the concrete heaving in the parking lot. We will be bringing before the authority in the future a number. Right now, we've reached out to Terracon and Olson, because we're gonna need to take right now, for everybody to know, we're gonna core to make it all, they're gonna make the recommendations right now to make them, so we could get a price to figure out which was the best price. We've sent Terracon and Olson 2 cores to the south where the parking lot was heaving. They'll do and soil testing, and 2 cores to the north. When they actually come out, they'll bring an expert out that will say, hey, we need to test here, here, and here. But to give everybody apples for apples, to be able to evaluate their pricing, that's what we had to do to work on fixing that. So we're in the process of getting that figured out so that we can figure out what to do next with that parking lot heaving piece. Of course, if you don't know, for everybody, the parking lot heaving is back down. It came back down minus the caulking that's messed up and probably missing by a 1/16 of coming back to where it was in the beginning.
Yes,
Wouldn't you say that's,
I'd say that's fair. The last item I had, I thought it was important to address is the woodworking in the courtrooms. And this is another item that Hausman has washed their hands of, or tried to. And we've gotten some input from Kevin to help us out a little bit on this, and some input from Shane and some of the photos that they have in background. And Shane, I'll let you speak to that quickly if you'd like to.
so along with humidity cracking that we're having in court space that Kenny's talking about, things are cracking again. We have woodwork that has cracked in the courtrooms. So they have all the fancy benches and stuff. Some of that woodwork has split. And it looks like it was, it's split just because, it looks like it was glued and nailed down. I'll actually have the chairman probably speak a little bit because he came out with us for some of this work. But it's caused because this stuff is either trying to move because of moisture and humidity changes, or it's was screwed down way too wet and now it's shrunk and now it's cracking. Mr. Chairman?
It would be my opinion that the wood was not properly prepared before they actually did the finish work on it and installed it. And so the humidity level in the wood was higher than it should have been. Once it was screwed in place and then it started to dry out, the pressure came on and that's where the cracks came from.
So Hausman has said that's our issue because we don't have humidifiers in the building. Kevin has helped immensely with his opinions. Kenny, Ron's helped. I'm just telling you, we're not accepting that solution, but that's a warranty item that they're not doing anything with.
All right. No other questions for Shane? We'll move on to item number 8 on the agenda today, public concerns. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 9, authority board member concerns.
So do we have some claims from Suter that we need to get paid ASAP?
Yes, we do. We have the one that we just approved today, thank you. There's another one for $3,000, another one for $23,165, and another one for $115,975 or some.
And that's the water softener system from months ago that we,
So right now, we got Kenny's department provided Suter's statement of aging of accounts. We had $12,000 in the 30 to 60 days, so by the time this meeting happens and something gets paid, that'll be in the 60 to 90 day range, and we'll have 141,000 in their 30 to 60 day range. And as we're trying to be partners and work with them, we need to get those bills paid. So I would recommend, if we can, have another meeting on Thursday. I'll go figure out what's happening with these claims, and
because have they been approved before or not?
you guys have, so the authority has approved the number and the dollar amount, but the claims have never been in a claim packet to actually have you
Sure.
approve paying them. So we've got to get you to approve the claim with the 3 of you, or the 2, at least a majority,
Yep.
so we can get the auditor's office to write them checks. And in our reclassification and holding stuff, we had some things that we kind of kept, and that's why you had the one special meeting. I would recommend that we have a special meeting, and tomorrow we'll make sure we get all these claims, whether we have to do them paper and just have each of them be before you, because we need to keep Suter paid.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
So we'll be looking at a Thursday or a Friday meeting.
Thursday, Thursday work if we can get the notice out.
work on it
We'll
as
get
soon as the
we'll work
meeting's
with
over.
Karen and get the notice out.
All right,
Thursday would be great.
okay, very good.
What, Dan, does 2 o'clock, does that work best for you? 3 o'clock, I'm
2
asking.
o'clock's fine. If it's good for you,
3 o'clock would work best for me,
well, let's do 3 o'clock.
and you're gonna call.
And I'll call in. Yep, so, and 3 is probably better than 2, so.
Okay, 3 o'clock on Thursday.
Okay. So we'll get a meeting agenda out for 3 o'clock on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you.
It'll be a very short meeting.
Yep.
It'll just be claims.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Item number 10 on our agenda today is closed session with Frederickson and Byron Law Firm under Iowa Code Chapter 21.51C. Make a motion, we go into closed session.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, everyone.
All right,
Thanks,
and Ron,
everyone.
I'll give the upstairs phone a call in a couple minutes.